Week 10 was everything that we thought it might be and maybe just a little bit more. I'm telling you what, it was a blast to get to watch all the football this week in the NAIA, and we're looking forward to 2 more weeks of the regular season. Now, I have to tell you really quickly, by the way, thank you for watching tonight. If you're watching the live chat, please let us know from where you're watching really quickly. Michael's already let me know where he's watching from tonight. That's South Florida. And of course, Michael, it's good to see your name come up there. Man, it's been a while, and I am excited to see your name up there. And by the way, go Kaiser Seahawks. We know the Seahawks are continuing to roll, number one team in the country. I have to let you know really quickly that tonight's show is going to be an abbreviated one. Normally, we talk about the top 5 performances, but we always go beyond the 5 and talk about the week that went on and try to highlight a lot of other performances that came on. Unfortunately, tonight, I am just now back into Studio B here because some of you may know, by the way, that we are based here in southeastern Oklahoma. Now, I realize some people say that's not really Midwest. So be it. It's not really Midwest. But yeah, it is. It kind of is. Anyway, we're based right here in southeastern Oklahoma. And if you've been watching your radar, you know that yesterday, by the way, lots of inclement weather throughout the middle part of the country. There were tornadoes in Oklahoma over the course of the night. Some near where two of my daughters actually live up in the Oklahoma City area. They're fine. Everything's taken care of. I know it affected a lot of football games too. Some people talked about football weather. That was a lot of football weather. So anyway, the reason I say that is that we've already had the sirens going off where we are here in Bryan County, and they've gone off a couple of times, and they likely will go off again. So I wanted to get here as quickly as I could. I was able to come in, get things together, but I do want to make sure that I get the top 5 in tonight. So if I didn't get to your favorite team tonight, and Michael made me mention Kaiser, so I had to mention Kaiser. Guys, lots with Morningside and Northwestern, so much that was out there. I'm sorry I can't get it all tonight, but I do want to get to the top 5. So let's get to the top 5. And I ask you this, by the way, will you please forgive me? Because we love the Sunday evening live show. It normally goes nearly an hour, sometimes more than an hour. So we love the Sunday evening live show. I'll tell you really quickly, we will do a Wednesday show because we have a lot to talk about with playoff possibilities. We have moved the number from 39 to 34 that we think still have an opportunity to be in the playoff. Possibilities, potential teams right there. And we know that one team is already in, so I'll just tell you that right now. Dickinson State. Is there any surprise? The Blue Hawks are going to make it to the playoffs. So that means 19 other spots are left. We'll talk about that on Wednesday night. Secondly, Thursday, we'll do our preview of Week 11, and we'll have a lot to talk about then as well. And I will say rankings, not ratings. I will talk about some rankings that are called ratings, and we'll talk about what it means. But in the meantime, hey, Dave, both roll Stangs. Want to give a shout out. Not going to get to the Stangs tonight, and I'm very, 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 and I mean this, very, very sorry, but we have to get this in quickly so that we can actually get a show in tonight. So, shout out, by the way, to Elisa. Thank you for watching from Northwest Oklahoma. Hope I'll put this up here really quickly. Hope that you don't have tornadoes tonight. I hope you don't have tornadoes tonight either in northwestern Oklahoma. And Jana, it's nice to see your name up there again. Watching from Palm City, Florida. Go Kaiser. Obviously go Kaiser. And that last name looks very familiar. Another good win, another good performance from that backfield there for the Kaiser Seahawks. All right, let's get really quickly then to the top 5, and it's up there. Okay. Again, sorry, I need to make it quick tonight because of this. Top 5. Let's go with the top 5 performances, and they are from only 4 games. Man, there's just no way I could break one of these down and not have both of the leaders from these teams in this final game. So work with me here. Oklahoma, Panhandle State University. I used to coach when I was coaching high school basketball. I had a young man named Blake Martin on my team. So every time I see Martin Blake come up, it looks a little bit wrong, or maybe I feel like that should be Martin, comma Blake. But Martin Blake with a fantastic effort for Oklahoma Panhandle State. 16 carries for 135 yards in a win over North American. 38-3 was the final there. 2 rushing touchdowns. But that wasn't all. He had 2 catches for 115 yards. Both of those catches were for touchdowns as well. Martin Blake was a 100-yard rusher, a 100-yard receiver on Saturday for the Aggies, and he makes our top 5 performances. By the way, and lots in the chat about Andrew Burnett. Fantastic performance on Saturday. Again, we'll get to his a little bit more on the Thursday show. Let's move on along because Brett Tomasini made some noise for Carroll. How about Carroll, by the way? I realize, and we talk about Kaiser, and Kaiser just continues to have a Kaiser schedule, and that's the way that Coach Sosha had it, and that's the way that Coach Russ has it. And I like that. I think it's cool because it puts them in a position to do well. We saw them 2 years ago as the number 12 seed, quote unquote seed, in the football championship series. They had no business being the number 12 seed, but the 3 losses they had in the regular season were all against Division I, Division II programs. No losses to NAIA schools. So props to Kaiser on that. Speaking of schedules that are tough, though, Carroll's schedule is tough. The Frontier Conference is always going to be a tough conference in which to play. But when you have a backloaded schedule like what Carroll's has been and playing all of these ranked teams back to back to back to back to back to close out the season, if Carroll can make it through that and remain undefeated in Frontier Conference play, this is a team that not only is making a statement to get in the playoffs, which, of course, if you go undefeated, you're going to get the Frontier Conference automatic bid, but to be able to make a run deep into the playoffs, and that's what they're doing. Now, there are some issues along the way. 21-17, the final over a top 10 team, again, in Southern Oregon, leading Southern Oregon to a 7-2 record overall, 4-2 in Frontier Conference play. The Saints are now 7-1 overall. Lost the first game of the season, have won 7 straight since then, 6 of them in Frontier Conference play. And Southern Oregon scored the first 17 points in this game, and then Carroll after that scored 21, got the offense going again. You can't say enough about what Jack Perka has done. He's had to fill in because not one, not two, I believe 3 running backs are gone. By the way, a cat just ran through the studio. If you saw a little shaking there, that was not a tornado or an earthquake. That just was one of the cats. Anyway, had to put 461 yards of passing in the air last week, set a Carroll record. They get down, they still need to have some running game. And so Boise State transfer, Brett Tomasini comes in, got a couple of carries last week. He had 3 carries this week for Carroll, and it was a jumbo package. Brought everybody in, brought the house, and they bring the linebacker in to carry the ball in. 2 of his carries, all 3 carries for 1 yard. 2 of them were for touchdowns. Props to Brett Tomasini, the linebacker, by the way, who has 31 tackles on the year, has 8 tackles for loss. He has a pair of sacks, and he also has 2 touchdown carries for Carroll. How about that? And you talk about the defense, too, because on his defense, he was a part of a Carroll Saints defense that held Gunnar Yates, one of the top 5 running backs in the country, to just 68 yards rushing on 28 carries. So props to Tomasini and that defense, but Brett Tomasini, one of our top 5 performances. And then we can go on and on and on about this game as well. I was talking about 3 games last week that I really wanted to watch. Of course, the Northwestern Morningside game was one of those. The Carroll Southern Oregon game was one of those. But that Mid-America Nazarene Benedictine game was one of those as well. Playing it through the inclement weather there in Olathe, Kansas, getting things done. Mid-America Nazarene 48, Benedictine 47. The final, going for it for 2, Benedictine, after Mid-America Nazarene has the game in the bag in the final 15 seconds. Benedictine runs back the ensuing kickoff after that. What a game, back and forth all the way through. It was one of those, just when you think it's over, it is not. And another huge win for Mid-America Nazarene against Benedictine, back-to-back years that it's come down to the wire, and the Pioneers are still undefeated. Now, Benedictine at 7-2 overall, some good wins. We don't think they're out of the playoff hunt just yet, and there's a lot to be said still with Mid-America Nazarene's schedule and Baker on the schedule next week. We will talk about that on both Wednesday night and Thursday. But look at this. You can't leave out either quarterback. And let's look through the stats here really quickly. Each team had 504 yards of total offense. Each team had 504 yards of total offense, a statistical anomaly at best. And it's also, they both crossed the 500-yard mark. I mean, they got it done. Of course, 48 and 47 points. You'd think that that would say a lot for it too. But how about the balance in that? And it was a balanced attack on offense and defense for both of them. For Benedictine, Jackson Dooley, 20 for 32, 413 yards passing. He had 5 passing touchdowns, 1 interception, and the interceptions for both these teams were tough, trying to get in on a score just deep into the opponent's territory. Adrian Parsons, 26 for 40 passing, 376 passing yards, 5 passing touchdowns, and 1 interception as well. You just couldn't separate Dooley and Parsons in this. And so in our top 5 performances, I realized one had to lose, one had to win. It's one of those games that you just look at and say, man, you just wish both teams could win. And I realize I'm old school here. I understand that. That's fine. I I miss the tie in college football. I really do. And the way they've changed overtime over the last 10 years, especially in NCAA Division I, Division II, it I'm not opposed to the tie. I think that would have been an incredible opportunity for a tie. 5 touchdown passes from both Dooley and Parsons. And check this too. 5 receivers combined for the two teams that had at least 100 yards receiving. For Benedictine, Jacob Gathright, one of the usual suspects, Jashawn Todd, Tanner Zimmerman, for Mid-America Nazarene, Miles Himes, and E.J. Rogers. And each one of them had at least 1 touchdown reception as well. But props to Jackson Dooley and to Adrian Parsons. And finally, tonight, Kentucky Christian. And we had to, make sure we had the logo for Kentucky Christian because we haven't been able to talk about the Knights in the top 5 until now. Jet Ingle with a performance. And if Ingle, who is a redshirt freshman, sticks around, this is part of something good for Coach Aubrey's team that they can build on to make something happen for the Knights. The Knights are a program that last year struggled. This year there are struggles as well, but you can see something happening in the program, and they are moving in the right direction. Kentucky Christian, 85. St. Andrews, 26. Jet Ingle, 22 for 31 passing, 307 passing yards, 7 passing touchdowns on the day, no interceptions, had a couple of carries for 8 yards as well. He, by the way, was able to find Dion Winburn 4 times for 58 yards, 2 receiving touchdowns, and Jeraylon Johnson 4 times, 54 yards, 2 receiving touchdowns as well. Jet Ingle, 7 passing touchdowns, and the Kentucky Christian Knights over the St. Andrews Knights in this one. We get KCU on our top 5 board, and that's the first time since we've been doing the top 5 performances. So props to all of our performers tonight: Martin Blake, Brett Tomasini, Jackson Dooley, Adrian Parsons, and Jet Ingle. Now, again, let me remind you really quickly, abbreviated show tonight. Dave, Dale, thank you for watching. Michael, thank you for watching. Elisa, thank you for being on tonight. Jana, Jeff, thank you all for commenting tonight. I really appreciate that. And if you're watching the live show, or even if you're watching the replay, if you're watching the replay and you made it this far, you're a trooper, and we appreciate that. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. An opportunity also to join and become a member of the channel too. Support the what we do here at Midwest Sports Net, where we talk about small college sports and more throughout the Midwest and beyond. We are really quickly, we're praying, we're believing that we're going to be taken care of here in southeastern Oklahoma. Dave, we are going to stay safe. We have the storm shelter that we've already been in once tonight, and we are ready to go back to it if we need to. But we're praying, and we are believing that we're going to be okay here tonight, and that the wind and the waves are going to be still, at least when it comes to our part of Bryan County. And so I look forward to getting to visit with you live on Wednesday evening. On Wednesday evening, the world's not going to stop after Tuesday night, no matter what. Okay? So keep that in mind. We will be here Wednesday evening. I believe it's going to be 7 Central Standard Time, because we're back in Standard Time now. Possibly 7:30. We'll put it out on Twitter, and we'll make sure you know. Thursday night, our preview, lots more to talk about there. And then we'll just go from there. I so much in the tank that we did not get to go over tonight, but I'm going to cut it short at 15 minutes. I appreciate you all. And especially thank you so much, Michael, for being here tonight and just being a part of the chat. When you all do that, it really makes it more fun on my end. Mrs. Midwest Sportsnet always asks, when I get off the broadcast, how was it? And it's so much more fun when I get to talk to you all. And I just can't even say enough about that. And so I'll close with this. I mean it every time, and so much more every time. It is a privilege to get to talk to you each night. It is a privilege to get to do the videos that hopefully you enjoy. It is a privilege to be sitting here right now, and I don't take it lightly. So God bless you all. Thank you very much. I'll see you on Wednesday night, and I believe there should be a coach on video tomorrow. We've got it set up. So be looking. You're going to get to hear from one of the winning coaches from Saturday's game. And his win was a surprise to a lot of people. So be sure and tune in for that tomorrow. God bless you all. Have a great night.